Hey mathematics learners, welcome to Distance Learning with Lee, where I make learning mathematics super easy. On today's video tutorial, guys, we are still under the topic of financial documents, and in today's video tutorial, guys, we are going to be analyzing a banking document, and in particular a bank statement, right? So we're going to be analyzing Solly Sibugo's bank statement. In your bank statement, guys, we get very important terms that you guys need to understand the meaning of. Like your transaction fee, what does that mean? A debit order, what does that mean? A stop order, what does that mean, right? So we're going to be defining those different terms. I'll be explaining what is the difference between a debit order and a stop order. I'll be explaining what a transaction fee is, right? And we're also going to be doing a number of calculations from this bank statement so that we can basically test to see if you guys understand overall what this bank statement is giving to us, right? So before we get started with the video tutorial, guys, please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Please make sure that you have clicked on that notification bell so that you get notified every single time I upload a video tutorial, guys. And also don't forget to give this video tutorial a huge thumbs up, because that really helps the channel grow and it helps the channel to reach more learners that want to better their mathematics marks, right? So without any further ado, guys, let's get started with today's video tutorial. Alright guys, so like I mentioned, we are going to be analyzing a bank statement yaga Solly Sibugo, right? So let's just have a look at this, right? So below is an extract of a bank statement for Solly Sibugo. Study the bank statement and answer the questions that follow, right? So we are given the bank that Solly Sibugo banks with, and it is Magic Bank, right? We are given the customer's name, it's Solly Sibugo. We are given the address of the customer, which is 13 Mdu Road, Langa. So that is Solly Sibugo's address. We are given the date in which this bank statement was issued. It's in June. And obviously, we're given the last 4 digits of Solly Sibugo's account number. And the last 4 digits are 0048. Okay, so let's just have a look here. Here, guys, we have the transaction dates for the different transactions that happen in Solly Sibugo's account, right? So what is a transaction, guys? A transaction is basically what happens when you have money going in and out of your account. So when you have money coming in, money coming out, that business that is going on into your that business that is happening in your account, that is basically called like a transaction, right? Cool stuff. So let's just have a look here. Here we've got transaction details, right? We've got the opening balance. So on the 5th of June, the opening balance in Solly Sibugo's account was 9,872.50 cents, right? Then there was a debit card purchase, right? So guys, what is a debit? A debit is when money basically gets removed from your account, right? So in this case, we can see that, okay, Solly Sibugo basically made a purchase of 1,516.72 rand. So he made a card purchase, right? And what was left in his account? So when money came out of his account, he was left with 8,355.78 cents, right? And then what do we see? Here we see that, okay, after that card purchase, there was a transaction fee that was charged in Mr. Solly Sibugo's bank account, and that transaction fee was 1 rand and 50 cents, right? Guys, what is a transaction fee? A transaction fee is a fee that the bank charges you, right, the account holder, for basically making use of their services. In this case, Mr. Solly Sibugo is making use of Magic Bank services because he is banking with them, right? So every time he makes a purchase with his bank account, when there is like a transaction in his account, let's say money is coming in or money is coming out, he basically gets charged a transaction fee, right? And in this case, he was charged a transaction fee of R1.50 because there was money that basically came out of his account, right? And then that was basically the transaction fee that he was charged. Cool stuff. Then we've got a debit order that went off in his account on the 6th of June of 3,600, right? So what is a stop order that went off in his account on the 6th of June, right, of 3,600. Guys, what is a stop order? We get like different types of orders. You get a debit order, you get a stop order. Some people tend to confuse the two or think that a stop order is the same thing as a debit order, right? And it's not the same thing. With a stop order, you have basically instructed the bank to basically take money out of your account to make future payments. So you basically tell your bank to take money to basically pay for particular payments. Sometimes some people make a stop order to pay for the rent, right, every month, so that they don't forget that, okay, every month on the 20th of the month, money must come out of their account to pay for their rent. Some people make a stop order that every month on, for example, the first day of the month, the bank needs to take money from their account and put it into the 30-day notice account. So with a stop order, you tell the bank that they can take money out from your account to basically pay for particular payments, or maybe take money from your account to basically put it into your savings account. So that is a stop order. With a debit order, you basically give an instruction to a third party, right, to take money from your account to pay for your accounts and stuff like that. For example, you will give permission to Virgin Active to take money from your account to pay for your Virgin Active membership fee. Or you will give permission to Mr. Price every month to take 300 so that you pay off your accounts there at Mr. Price. So you give the instruction to a third party, in this case, let's say, for example, Mr. Price, to take money from your account to pay for your accounts and stuff like that. So that is basically the difference between the two, right? So we see here that there was a stop order that went off of 3,600, and then when that stop order went off, right, we can see that in his account he was left with 4,754.28 right? And then we see, because there was another transaction that went off, right, money came out of the account, he was charged another transaction fee. This bank basically charges transaction fee after transaction fee for every single transaction that goes off in his account. So this is not a good bank that Solly Sibuko banks with, right? But anyway, we are still going to continue, right? So I think you guys basically get the point of all these transaction details that are basically going on. What's important, if it's a debit, we know that we are removing money from the account. We see that when there was a debit, right? For example, here, there was 9,872.50. When the debit card purchase went off, there was less amount in his account, right? So that is basically how we are going to go about analyzing this bank statement. Okay, so let's just start off by now having a look at the questions. But before that, we are given a table here, and this table basically gives us the interest rates per annum that basically gets Solly Sibuko has to pay depending on the account balance, depending on his account balance, right? We see when he has between R1 to 4,999.99, he pays an interest rate of 1.20%, right? If he has between 5,000 to 9,999.99, his interest rate is 1.50%. And if he has an account balance of 10,000 Rand and more, his interest rate is 1.80%, right? Cool stuff. Let us have a look at the questions. It says, use the information above to answer the questions that follow, right? Define the term transaction fee, right? We've already defined the term transaction fee. We said a transaction is what happens when you have money coming in and out of your account, right? Your account is busy. Transactions are basically going off in your account, right? So now what would be a transaction fee, right? A transaction fee is an amount that the bank charges you, the customer, for making use of their services, right? So we are going to basically write that down. Cool stuff. Right, so a transaction fee is a fee that the bank charges their customers for their services. Cool stuff. Let's go to question number 2. Calculate the value of A. Right, so let us have a look at the account or the bank statement, right? So we want to calculate the value of A here, right? Okay, this is the value that we want to calculate here. But then how do we get that value there, A? What do we notice, okay? We see that on the 6th of June, right, Mr. Solisubugo had 4,000, right, so there, 4,452.96 cents. That is how much he had, right? Then on the 9th of June, a debit order basically went off in his account for car insurance, right? So when we see a debit, we see that, okay, money was subtracted or removed from his account to basically pay for his car insurance, right? So he had 4,452.96. Okay, a debit order went off and paid for his insurance of a particular amount. So minus A amount, was subtracted from his account, and this is how much he was left in his account. So what is that the value that was subtracted in his account? He had 4,452.96, and A rands was subtracted from his account because it was a debit order, and then he was left with 3,896. So how much is that A? What is the value of that A, right? So we're basically going to write that as an equation, okay? So he had what? 4,452.96. And A amount was subtracted from his account, and he was left with 3,896, right? So what is the value of that A amount that was subtracted from his account? So we basically need to solve for A in this equation, guys. We're literally just solving for A. And when you solve for A, guys, you isolate A, or in other words, you put A on its own, right? And you basically get what the value is, right? So to isolate A, what do we do, right? We move the A to the other side. So if you move the A to the right hand side, it'll be 4,452.96. If you move the A to the right hand side, it becomes a positive. And if you move the 3,896 to the left hand side, it becomes a negative. When a value jumps the equal sign, that value sign changes. Okay, cool stuff. Right, so it'll be minus 3,800.96, which is equal to, the A is jumping the equal sign, it becomes a positive A, right? So if you punch that into your calculator, you will find that A is equal to 652 Rand, okay? So you can also write it as A is equal to 652 Rand, okay? You can also do a quick check. Okay, we said A is equal to 652. If we take 4,452.96 minus 652, you'll get 3,896. Because what? It is a debit. So if it's a debit, we know that we are minusing that amount, because a debit, money is getting removed. Right? Cool stuff. Let's move on to the next question. calculate Solly's annual net salary. Okay, so before we can even calculate Solly's annual net salary, we need to know how much Mr. Solly Sibuko is basically getting paid, right? So we need to have a look at his bank statement. Obviously, his payment, his salary is going to reflect somewhere there in the bank statement towards the end of the month, right? I'm assuming. Okay, so let's just see. Okay, cool stuff. So when you see here, we see on the 25th of June, there was an electronic deposit, right, of his salary, and he got 17,675.90 cents. So Mr. Sibuko is getting paid, ne? Right? He got 17,675.90 rand. Okay. So if it's a deposit, guys, all right, we know that also, right, the deposit money is getting put into your account, right, in this context, right? So money was getting added into Mr. Solly Sibuko's account, and it was his salary, right? And his monthly salary is 17,675.90 cents. But in the question, they want us to calculate his net salary. So what is his annual net salary? Net salary is the salary that Mr. Solly Sibuko gets after his deductions of his taxes, his UIF, his medical aid, and so on and so forth, right? So what is Solly Sibuko's annual net salary? The salary that we are given here in his bank statement is his net salary, because that is obviously they give you your salary after all those deductions have been made, right? You don't get your salary before your pension fund has been deducted, before your medical aid has been deducted, before your taxes has been deducted. So you get the salary in your account after all those deductions have been made. So that would be your net salary, right? So that is the net salary that is in Mr. Solly Sibuko's account, but it is his net salary, his monthly net salary. However, what do we want? We want his annual net salary. So what do we need to do? Okay, so Mr. Sibuko's monthly net salary is equal to 17,675.90 cents. However, we want the annual net salary. So what do we have to do? We need to multiply this monthly salary by 12, right? So if you literally punch that into your calculator, you will get that the annual net salary for Mr. Solly Sibuko is 212,110.80 cents. Okay, I'm going to say this, I'm going to explain this again. The reason why I'm saying that this is actually Mr. Sibuko's monthly net salary, right, is because the salary that will reflect in your bank statement or in your bank is the salary after your deductions, right? You will not get your gross salary in your bank, right? It will be the net salary because the taxes has already been deducted, your UIF has already been deducted, pension fund has already been, medical aid has already been, then you get what's left, and that is what reflects in your bank statement. Cool stuff, right? Let us continue with the question. Question 4. Is the final balance in the account a credit or a debit balance, right? So is it a credit, right? Is it money that he has in an account, right? Or is it a debit balance? Or does he have like a negative balance in your account? Explain your answer. So let's have a look at the bank statement. Cool stuff. So we see here in Mr. Solly Sibuko's bank statement, this is the amount that he has on the 28th of June. Mr. Solly Sibuko is very money savvy. On the 28th of June, he has 19,890.07 cents. So he's not the type of person that when his salary comes, he's already at Mr. Price buying sports scene. He basically is very money savvy. Cool stuff. So he's got 19,890.07. That is in his account. Therefore, we can see that, okay, it is actually a credit balance because there is money in the account and that money belongs to him. So it is a credit balance. Okay, so that is exactly what we are going to write there. Question number 5. Nah? Right, Solly has a cell phone contract with a subscription fee of 85 Rand per month, right? So he's got a cell phone contract, right? And he pays 85 Rand per month. How much extra did he spend on his cell phone in June? That is the question. So we're going to go on to the statement and we're going to have a look here. What is going on there? We're going to look for his cell phone contract and see if we are going to get something. So debit card purchase. Oh, there we go. We've got a debit order that goes on the 6th of June for his cell phone. I'm going to make it in green. But that debit order was actually 289 Rand and 93 cents. But they're telling us that his cell phone contract is 85 Rand. So why is it a debit order of 289 Rand 93 cents and not a debit order of 85 Rand? That means that Mr. Solly Sobukwe actually spent the extra amount on airtime, right? So this 289 Rand and 93 cents that went, or the debit order that went on for the cell phone contract is actually supposed to be 85 Rand, right? However, it is not 85 Rand because Mr. Solly Sobukwe decided to go ham, right, with the airtime this month, right? That means that he spent a lot on airtime. That is why then the cell phone contract basically deducted more from his account instead of that 85 Rand, right? So now that is where we get to this question. How Solly has a cell phone contract with a subscription fee of 85 Rand per month. How much extra did he spend on his cell phone in June? Then here it becomes super easy, right? We just take the 289 Rand and 93 cents and we subtract it with the 85 Rand that he's supposed to pay, right? Let's just do that. Okay, so it's 289.93 minus 85 Rand, right? This is 85 Rand to give us 204.93. That means that Mr. Solly Sobukwe spent 204 Rand and 93 Rand in the month of June on airtime, right? Okay, so that is why he didn't pay 85 Rand, because he basically spent more on it. Okay, let's go on to question 6. Assume that no further transactions are done on the final balance. Calculate the interest rate that Solly will receive from the bank in June. Oh yeah, the interest rate that he will receive. I think I said pay, right, in the beginning of the video tutorial, okay? So that's basically an interest rate that you get, right, depending on your account balance. So let's just have a look at Mr. Solly Sobukwe here. We see that Mr. Solly Sobukwe, we said that, okay, Mr. Solly Sobukwe is very money savvy. He's got 19,890.07 in his account on the 28th of June, right? So we need to basically determine the interest the interest rate that he will receive from the bank. So we basically need to calculate the interest that he will receive from the bank for what? June. Né? So for the month, not for the year, right? But what do we notice here? Here, this is the interest rate per annum. This is the interest rate for the year, right? So to get the interest rate for the month, what do we need to do? First thing we need to do, okay, his account balance is greater than 10,000, right? This is the row that we're going to be working with there, right? Okay. And then to get the interest rates for the month, it's very super easy. Interest rate, we're going to take the 1.80% and we're just going to divide it by 12 to get what the interest rate will be for the month of June. So if you divide by 12, you'll find that his interest rate for June is basically going to be 0.15%, right? Okay, so that is it for today's video tutorial, guys. What was important in this video tutorial is that we understand the meaning of the words debit, right? Credit, right? Transaction fee, right? And so on and so forth, right? Other things like deposit, we know when money is deposited into your account, money is getting added into your account, right? If money is getting withdrawn from your account, money is getting taken out from your account, right? And I did mention that a debit, money is getting removed. So they just stopped the question there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video tutorial. And also please make sure that you basically also just take screenshots of this bank statement so that you guys, before you even start with the video tutorial, just try it out on your own. And then you follow with the video tutorial once you've basically attempted it, right? So that is it for today's video tutorial, guys. Please make sure that you have clicked on that like button, and also please don't forget to share this video tutorial with your friends, right? And that is it, guys, and I'll see you guys on my next upload. And I also wanted to share a music channel that I've basically created. In the channel, I'll be basically uploading your classical mixes, your lo-fi beats and stuff like that, to just help you guys relax and study. So it's like a great channel to go to when you just got home from school and you're doing your homework. It'll be great, soothing and relaxing music that you guys can listen to as you are basically doing your homework or even studying for your tests and exams, or even if you're just chilling and just want to listen to relax music that is just relaxing and music that will calm you down. Please make sure that you have a look at this channel. I highly recommend it. Okay, yeah, and don't forget to just subscribe to the channel. Also give the videos or the music mixes on the channel a huge thumbs up. I'll leave a link to the channel down on the description box below. Right, so that is it for today's video tutorial, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please don't forget to share the channel with your friends, and I'll see you guys on my next video tutorial, Distance Learning with Lee, where I make learning mathematics super easy. That is it, guys, and I'll see you guys on my next upload, Distance Learning with Lee, where I make learning mathematics super easy. Bye, guys.